Hello, everybody, and welcome to Harrisonville, Missouri, Saturday afternoon quarterfinal Saturday for Class 3 and Class 4 soccer. And the Wildcats set to take on KC East in a battle for a right to go to the Final Four next weekend. So it will be fun to see how this game goes. Harrisonville looking for its first ever trip to the Final Four, and KC East as well, looking for a trip to the Final Four. KC East has been here before. A lot of people may not know that they played Grain Valley a couple of years ago for the right to go to the Final Four. Grain Valley eventually came up with the win, so we will see what happens. It is your pregame show brought to you by Sherwood Community Bank, Harrisonville's only locally owned and managed bank, member FDIC. We're going to take a timeout. Just want to let you know we're here and ready to rock and roll. We're about 10 minutes away from the opening kick. We will take a timeout and thank some of our great sponsors, and we'll be back right after this.
Troby's Maytag Home Appliance Center in Harrisonville takes the hassle out of buying home appliances. They will save you time and money and give you the same selection as the marts up in the city. So instead of spending hours driving north searching for a great deal, go see the crew at Troby's right here in Harrisonville and get friendly hometown service at affordable prices. With 3 generations of Troby's helping, it's a true hometown business, happy to make you feel like part of the family. Go see them today on Plaza Drive right behind Hawthorne.
Friendly faces and bright smiles greet you every time you walk into one of the 4 Sherwood Community Bank locations in Creighton, Urick, Garden City, or Harrisonville. A full-service bank with new internet banking options to track your accounts and many loan options. That makes Sherwood Community Bank Harrisonville's premier bank. They are the only locally owned bank, and you know your neighbors are taking care of you and your assets. When it's time for a new bank account or a loan for a home or car, think local and think Sherwood Community Bank, member FDIC.
We all have a checklist when it comes to getting car care. No matter what is on your list, convenience, knowledge, affordability, friendliness, Colby's Car Clinic has you covered. Convenience is being right here in Harrisonville and taking care of all car care problems. From an oil change to tires and everything in between, it's your only stop. Knowledge is covered with having an ASC certified master technician. Affordability means they will work with you to not break your budget. And friendliness greets you each time you walk in the door as they treat you like an old friend. Go see Colby and the gang behind O'Reilly's in the Big Blue Building.
Treatment for minor aches and pains starts with a family atmosphere at Schroeder Chiropractic. They want to get to know you and find the best treatment solutions. The family atmosphere in over a decade in Harrisonville, Dr. Schroeder and Dr. Sharp give residents peace of mind that when the aches and pains are too much, they can come in and join the family at Schroeder Chiropractic next to the Brick House Coffee Bar and Eatery right off the historic Harrisonville Square.
Carol Looney and the staff at American Heritage has been where Harrisonville's turned since 1981 for their dream homes. Carol and her staff will make sure you find the house that's right for you and your budget. They will make sure schools are right for the kids as well. Go see the team that goes the extra mile for you, located next to Sonic at 1000 South Commercial, or call 816-380-6161, or visit the website at americanheritage-realtors.com.
What is the number one thing people look for when buying a used car? Trust. If you can't trust the person you buy your vehicle from, you can end up with a lemon. Steve Holland at Holland Auto Sales has been Harrisonville's trusted name for used cars since 1984. That's over 30 years in business, earning your trust and giving you confidence that he will be around for your family for years to come. Next time you're in the market for a vehicle, think about the used car dealer that has been around longer than any other. Holland Auto Sales on Commercial, just past Price Chopper.
All right, welcome back to Harrisonville, Missouri. Quarterfinal Saturday for soccer in Class 3 and Class 4, and your Harrisonville Wildcats looking for their first ever trip to the state semifinals. Ross was filling me in the time out there, letting me know this is the third time they've played in the round of 8, but with the way soccer was set up before, the sectional round was actually the quarterfinal round because there wasn't as many teams in the tournament.
Exactly. So 10 years ago, back in 2007, was the last time that Harrisonville made it to, well, like you said, considered the quarterfinal game, which doubled as the sectionals. Just as they've been adding more programs to the district, they've had to extend this postseason tournament. So Harrisonville already setting some records in the last game with, the single season or most goals scored in a single season record being broken, as well as most assists in a single record or in a single season being broken. Tonight they're looking, like you said, to make it to that next stage of this tournament to set a record as no other team in Harrisonville history has done before.
No other men's team. I got to
Correct.
I got to give my
Right.
ladies credit. Tina and AJ and Carson
Correct.
and Sarah Clark and
That was
and
10,000
a whole.
or 2010.
I do believe spring of 2010. So I got to give them their props because
Correct.
they did have a great year. In Harrisonville, you know how much it means to have neighbors you can count on. One like who mows your yard and lawn and has it trimmed that week you were sick. Well, here's another good neighbor you can count on. State Farm agent Steve Croy. Steve and his team are here to help life go in the right when you combine your home and auto insurance, which can save you money and time. So combine home and auto and start the savings rolling. State Farm agent Steve Croy, 816-884-4922. Mike and Natalie Johnson take pride in giving back to the community. While if you need help on a remodel or project at your house, they're here to help, but they love giving back to the various projects because they call this community home. From the Savannah Nash Memorial in front of HHS to redoing both HHS's football and softball fields or organizing a trip to Houston to help out hurricane victims, Mike and Natalie make sure Excalibur pays it forward and helps Harrisonville continue to be a great place to live. Whether it's a small job to patch your lawn or commercial installation, Heltz Turf Farm can do it all. From the Loves and Quick Trip or the Lady Wildcat softball field, Heltz will have you seeing green with their fescue and bluegrass sod. Sean and Michelle also love to support Harrisonville schools, the Wildcats, and field their own national touring micro sprint car team driven by Slater Helt. Give Heltz a call at 816-540-2020. How many times have you bought a bag of topsoil from your local hardware store? Do you know you can get better topsoil and price right from the source? Heltz Topsoil has fine pulverized topsoil that's virtually debris-free, a non-pulverized topsoil for a little bit bigger job to fill dirt for a large home improvement project. All for cheaper than you could get at the hardware store and better quality as well. So call them today at 816-668-3520. Established in 1986, Harrisonville Family Medicine is Harrisonville's premier family doctors. Serving a 7-county area over 2 states and 4 doctors and 3 nurse practitioners on staff, they will be sure to have you covered. From sports injuries to a common cold, Dr. Aaron and Damon Travis and their staff will have you covered. They also take most health insurance in the greater Kansas City area, so come in for a checkup and stay to be part of the family at Harrisonville Family Medicine. What's it like to have convenience when you travel right in your hometown? Go to the Sapp Brothers Truck Stop Complex in Harrisonville to find out. With a 24-hour truck stop and a Dunkin' Donut for snacks, gas, or an iced coffee, Apple Barrel Restaurant for Sunday brunch, or a service center to help fix a flat, Sapp Brothers has it all. If that's not enough for you, always remember they have mom-approved restrooms. So next time you are headed out of town or just need some gas, go see the great staff at the Sapp Brothers Truck Stop Complex. Tonight's soccer game is sponsored by Atkinson Funeral Home and Cremation Services. The nice folks at Atkinson have been serving families since 1929 and are proud to support Harrisonville athletics. We're just a couple of minutes away from your opening kick. We're going to have a national anthem. We will take a quick timeout, and we'll be back after this one. As Jerry, we're going to mute this so we don't have the national anthem coming through. We will be right back. You're listening and watching high school soccer on 4Ts.com. All right, welcome back to your pregame show brought to you by Sherwood Community Bank, Harrisonville's only locally owned and managed bank, member FDIC. It is Soccer Saturday in Harrisonville. Harrisonville Wildcat soccer team looking to make it to the Final Four. They're in the state quarterfinals. The football team won last night. They're in the state quarterfinals. Good day to be a Wildcat, as they like to say, here in Harrisonville. It's not too often you get the convenience of a big city bank with a small town feel, but that's exactly what you get with Commerce Bank of Harrisonville. Big city convenience with tons of locations, more lending options combined with small town hospitality and friendly smiles. Commerce takes pride in being an active part in Harrisonville schools and athletics, and wish them luck tonight and throughout the playoffs. So go visit them for historically low mortgage rates or just to say hi. Commerce Bank, equal housing member FDIC. So the starters are being announced here as we speak. And once that is over, we will have the kick after the national anthem, I believe, will be played. Good crowd filing in here from all around. And, you know, one of the great things I like to see, a lot of people don't understand that small school atmosphere. Harrisonville, a pretty solid size school, and about around 900 kids in the high school. But when you can see all sports, Ross, when you can see all these different sports support each other, I look down here, first thing I see Jackson Crowley sitting right down here in front of me. Then you have the student section down there. All the football players that won a district title last night are here to support their friends on the soccer squad today. And that's something neat to see at a school this size.
I mean, it's amazing. Like you said, you know, we not only have everyone here from the community, but it's really going to be a fantastic afternoon as we continue to support these boys.
So we'll take a timeout. They're getting ready for the national anthem. We'll be right back after this.
Troby's Maytag Home Appliance Center in Harrisonville takes the hassle out of buying home appliances. They will save you time and money and give you the same selection as the marts up in the city. So instead of spending hours driving north searching for a great deal, go see the crew at Troby's right here in Harrisonville and get friendly hometown service at affordable prices. With 3 generations of Troby's helping, it's a true hometown business, happy to make you feel like part of the family. Go see them today on Plaza Drive right behind Hawthorne Bank.
Friendly faces and bright smiles greet you every time you walk into one of the 4 Sherwood Community Bank locations in Creighton, Urick, Garden City, or Harrisonville. A full-service bank with new internet banking options to track your accounts and many loan options. That makes Sherwood Community Bank Harrisonville's premier bank. They are the only locally owned bank, and you know your neighbors are taking care of you and your assets. When it's time for a new bank account or a loan for a home or car, think local and think Sherwood Community Bank, member FDIC.
We all have a checklist when it comes to getting car care. No matter what is on your list, convenience, knowledge, affordability, friendliness, Colby's Car Clinic has you covered. Convenience is being right here in Harrisonville and taking care of all car care problems. From an oil change to tires and everything in between, it's your only stop. Knowledge is covered with having an ASC certified master technician. Affordability means they will work with you to not break your budget. And friendliness greets you each time you walk in the door as they treat you like an old friend. Go see Colby and the gang behind O'Reilly's in the Big Blue Building.
All right, welcome back to Harrisonville, Missouri. We're on the campus of Harrisonville Middle School Memorial Stadium for Soccer Saturday, quarterfinal round in the Class 3 tournament to go to the Final Four next week. We're getting ready for that opening kick. Your Harrisonville Wildcats are going to have their white kits, white tops, white bottoms with the blue numbers and the white socks. KC East going with the green and white kit with the black socks. And I was prepping Ross for this. And you know what? Last night at halftime of the football game, Ross,
Right.
I was talking about the soccer team, and I talked about their 1-0 victory
There you
on
go.
Tuesday night. And I had 3 different people text me and go, Chad, I'm so proud of you. You're becoming a soccer fan.
Exactly.
So I had to bust that out for you. I knew you would enjoy that.
I did appreciate that. I did love that. As I do get to hear, the education process that this has been. It truly has been. Myself, I've heard people that either come into the coffee shop or through messaging me on Facebook or text me, just talking about how just in the last 2 weeks, how they finally have started to understand, comprehend soccer, and how it's making the game more enjoyable. Even between the goals.
You're exactly right. And Harrisonville is going to get it to start here, and they're going to go right to left on your screen. Left to right will be KC East. KC East and the green tops, white tops for the Wildcats. As we see them kicking it off to get rolling are the Wildcats. And, you talk about that, the education process. And I was talking to a couple people earlier, and I think the theme that I've figured out, the common American sports fan as we sit here and watch this game start rolling, is so used to every American sport is so tailored to the ball.
Yes.
Soccer is not a sport that is played right at the ball. It's
exactly.
Everything going on elsewhere is what's happening with soccer. So that's the big thing in this is the fact that the casual fan, looks like the Cats are going to get a goal kick here as that goes out of bounds. The casual fan doesn't see that. They're looking for the ball, and they're like, well, all they do is kick the ball around. Well, there's a lot more that goes into it, and I think you're seeing more people pick it up.
Exactly. And that's the fun thing about it. These sports, like you said, every other sport, it's easy to watch because you just find where the ball is and you follow that, which you can definitely do that in soccer, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that's what most of us do, even soccer and sports fans. But like you're saying, to be able to look at things off the ball, to be able to see, like right here, with Blentlinger making that run, even though he wasn't able to get to that, that's something to be looking for. When you see, your center midfielders pushing the ball up, you then kind of take your eyes off the ball, look at your wingmen to see what runs, what cuts they're making, or delayed runs, which is another thing that you'll see. So you kind of start seeing the development, and that's where the beautiful game really starts to develop.
So both teams have kind of had an early attack here, but nothing going so far as both kind of just flamed out, so to speak, when they got down there.
Yeah, Harrisonville coming off their 1-0 win against Marshall earlier this week, I guess. And then East Kansas City coming off a 4-0 win versus Smithville. So both teams looking to continue their season, go for that run for the title. Harrisonville back on a turf field. I know Cody Blentlinger and I talked a lot about that last game, how the last field that we played on was a little bit shorter. It was also a natural grass field. So with turf, the ball is going to move a lot faster, especially whenever you have a field that is, the full 120 yards long here in Harrisonville. And so both teams seem to have a lot of speed behind them, so that should play a factor here. With a header going right over the crossbar, Brody going up but not having to get a hand on it, so Harrisonville will be awarded a goal kick here.
And we talk about – a lot of people have talked about the goal scoring on both sides here today. It could be a high-scoring contest, but you got to give a lot of credit to Harrisonville in that game on Tuesday night. I got to pick up some of it between the trick-or-treating and such, and what I saw was a lot of good defense being played by Harrisonville. I know Logan Johnson had a good save by the goal.
Amazing on-the-line save, yeah.
That saved a goal, which would have made it a 1-1 ball game, or it would have gave them the lead at that point, I believe. But also for Brody Pitts had some great saves as well in that game.
Yeah, that first half, neither goalkeeper is really getting tested too much with shots on goal or anything too dangerous. But that second half, both teams kind of had a fire lit under them, and they were both coming in strong, taking a lot of shots. Not every shot was great, but it was letting the opposing defense know that they're coming for it. And so Brody really was challenged in a bit, and a perfect little give and go there on the far right side, playing the ball in the center with a great through ball and just not enough timing-wise there, kind of catching him off guard.
Looked like Connor kind of got his feet tangled up as he was trying to go for that kick, and that can happen every once in a while.
Exactly. Could have been tangled up, or he might have worried that he was going to get caught off guard or off sides, as we've seen a couple times with him just because of his speed. East with a great ball to the outside, takes it up and sends it wide of the goal, which will be another Harrisonville goal kick here. Before the game, we were talking about just how, Harrisonville is really showing up today, the hype that's been building around this soccer team. And it's been great to not just see, like, Harrisonville showing up, but also a lot of alumni to the Harrisonville soccer teams. We have such individuals like Matt Watson, Levi Long, Cody Blentlinger, who helped me out last week here in Presence, Wade Wood, and, a couple others that I'm sure are here. And then we even have some who are, watching who don't live here in Missouri. We've got people like Ben Warner out in California and Jeff Savage, who's out on the East Coast. So this broadcast really has been able to bring a whole community together to support these boys as they go for that first state title, boys title in Harrisonville history. As like you said earlier, there's been a lot of just kind of back and forth. The ball has stayed mostly in the Harrisonville defense. East taking this cut here with another shot.
And they're not afraid to let
No,
it fly.
they
They have hit some hard ones. Harrisonville's had a couple goal kicks. Remember, all these goal kicks brought to you by Excalibur Contracting. Excalibur Contracting, proud supporter of Harrisonville schools. And speaking of Excalibur Contracting, Mike Johnson and Natalie Johnson on that. Mike is out in Vegas right now, and he has gotten to see all these games in Vegas. So, Mike,
awesome.
We know you're out there somewhere in Vegas sitting down watching this game, and we're glad that you get a chance to watch this, and we're so happy to have you guys on board as sponsors as well. But enjoy the broadcast, and hopefully we can bring home a W for you today as you sit somewhere out in Vegas and watch this. I know Tuesday I think he was at In-N-Out Burger.
Hey.
So, hey, wherever you can go get set up as we have a kick-on goal here and right to Brody Pitts, and the Cats avoid any damage there, and it's still 0-0 with 33:22 to go here in the first half. Or I should have said 0-0.
There you go. 0-0. Exactly. I'll say as both teams look to get their first goal of the match. On the other side of the bracket here, we'll have later today at 5 o'clock, you have North County playing Washington High School. So that'll be a score that we won't know about when our game is finished. But that would be the winner of that game would be the ones facing the winner of this game here.
I do know there's been some upsets. Talking to some people, there have been some upsets in that Class 3 bracket for people they thought would be possible winners.
Yeah, again, we kind of talked a little bit about this last game where, kind of a good cushion to sit at for a soccer team is about 3 goals, which is a little bit tougher to do. But if you can sit ahead 3 goals, then you really do have some cushioning. But that was kind of a part of the drama of this last game, was that 1-0 lead, and you really have to work just as hard to keep that lead as you do while you're continuing to try to make your own goals to give yourself a little bit of a margin. And so soccer really is one of those where all it can take is a poor deflection or just the right spot, because these goals, again, are 20 feet by 8 feet, and that ball can fit into that goal multiple times in multiple ways. As Weebush is taken down here on your screen, looks like the 30, but it's actually the 40-yard line, as you have to factor in the
10 yards.
The 10 yards of the goal.
So we'll have a goal kick out here, brought to you by Excalibur Contracting. Excalibur Contracting, proud supporter of Harrisonville schools. Good set piece opportunity for the Wildcats.
Exactly. Sent up top, and that could have dropped in, but unfortunately that goal is actually not going to count, because as it was deflected by the goalkeeper, it hit the crossbar of the field goal, which is considered out of bounds. And so here's another one of those Excalibur sponsored corner kicks that we'll have here. Great opportunity, as we of course would have loved to take that goal, but corner kicks are great opportunities for goal scoring. As the ball gets sent in, great little inside curve. Keeper comes out, very aggressive. A tall keeper there at East High School, so his length and size is going to play a little bit of a factor, as anything that's chipped or any ball that's played low just have to get pushed off that much more, as his punt sends the ball all the way down into Harrisonville's defensive side.
And, I'll tell you, something for the casual fan, me as a casual fan that is learning the game, people, they hear the terminology set piece, and they try to figure out, what do you mean by a set piece? My easiest way to explain that to somebody, as East's going to get them a corner kick now, as I explain that, is it's kind of like in basketball, passing the ball in from out of bounds. You have a set play that you run to try to get a basket. Same difference here. They got a set play they're running to try and get a goal. And right here, they had an opportunity at it, just missed high, and it'll be back to the Cats' possession here. So, that's what I try to explain to people. I was like, well, a set piece is basically it's just a set play. Or you can look at it on football, that they run plays constantly.
Exactly.
But you just don't have that many opportunities in a soccer match as you would in a football game.
Yeah, with soccer being such a flowing sport where there's not a lot of stoppage where you can kind of reevaluate, recollect, that those set pieces are extremely vital and amazing for those opportunities, because it really does give you an opportunity to set up and do something intentional where, like we've talked about in games past, where everybody's on the same page, where otherwise when the ball is just simply in play, you have everybody thinking on their own, thinking, I should make this run, I shouldn't make this run, I should pass the ball here, I should hold it. Where a set piece, is something that you work on in practice, where you know exactly what run you're supposed to make, and as a kicker, you have 3 options of where do I want to place the ball for greatest chance of success. And so, one of the kind of critiques or criticisms of soccer is often, the classic flop, flopping from a foul and maybe dramatizing a little bit the injury caused. But it's almost like in the NBA where, you see some of these players go down to draw a foul, to go to the line, because that gives them the best opportunity. It's kind of the same thing where you'll see some players maybe in certain areas of the field where their balance maybe isn't knocked too far off, maybe go down because it might be a better opportunity. But there is a risk in that, because if the center official feels as if it was a clear flop and a fake, then it's actually awarded an automatic red card, which ejects you from the game and then causes your team to play a man down. And so there's a little bit of a strategy in there, and not just, them being a little brittle. So it's all fun and games until someone really gets hurt. Then
Absolutely.
That's when the criticism of flopping kind of causes some questioning when real injuries might come into play.
Early on, 27 minutes plus left here in the first half of this one, still 0-0 our score. I think, as we look at this is going to be one of those games where I think the final is going to come down to whoever can get that garbage goal in front on a rebound or something. You've seen a lot of deflections and stuff. Looks like both teams are really just going to need to be on their toes ready in the box, because they could get a deflection and get it in.
Exactly. Oh, great pullback there by Schroeder, as he just made that player look a little silly as they move this ball into the middle. Wide open corner, maybe a little too much, as he puts on the gas and he saves it from going out of bounds. Again, here at the stadium, we'll be playing via the gray lines, as you see maybe a little bit challenging to see the 18-yard box, and especially the 6-yard box within the darkened end zones. Way to intercept that pass, as that could have led to a very potentially dangerous opportunity for the Wildcats.
If you like the action in regular sports, you would enjoy the beginning of this game, as there has been a ton of action both ways, as it's been a quick-paced game so far.
Yes, both teams just coming out, firing on all cylinders. Very quick, a lot of counterattacks, which, that's kind of obviously the natural flow of soccer, is a lot of attack, counterattack, as it's just moving back and forth, almost like a very slow tennis match as the ball gets served around. But here, both teams making a lot of efforts for a set piece here with East High center that far side. Doesn't find anybody, but gets cleared out as the foul for the push-off is called there on Connor. But to go back to what you're saying about kind of what the expectations of this game are, the potential outcome, I'd agree with you. At this level of play, this far into the tournament, the goals that you see are either going to be, just beautifully created and mastered, or it's going to be, maybe that deflection and, that garbage goal. But hey, at this point of the tournament where this is the last round of single elimination play, you'll take whatever kind of goal you can get, whether it was off your foot or if it was off the foot of your opponent. You'll take whatever. Like right there, could have resulted in one of those garbage goals that we talked about as the ball is recovered there in the center of the pitch as it gets pushed out, but unfortunately intercepted by East High, which is going for that long through ball that we see Harrisonville use so often as well as they continue their pursuit with a shot just wide, really putting a test here to Harrisonville's defense.
And they have had way more shots on goal so far than the Wildcats here in this game.
Exactly. As we have a substitution for Harrisonville with Ethan Cole, we come to another goal kick for Harrisonville, presented to you by Excalibur Contracting. You can see Coach Coleman on that far side after that ball went out of bounds, talking with his defense, telling them to really push the ball out and make sure it's getting cleared, as there's a great corner pass here. Connor looks for the inside, just off the foot, but it's still not out yet with a little touch. East High looking to clear it, but it goes straight up. And unfortunately, looks like there's going to be a penalty called on Harrisonville, which stops that potential scoring, as East High now has their own set piece inside their 18-yard box. Ball goes out of bounds for a Harrisonville throw-in.
First opportunity for an extended attack for the Wildcats, as it has been mostly in their end defending here early on in this ball game. So good opportunity for Harrisonville here.
Unfortunate pass there, but collected back by Harrisonville. Trying to bring it to the ground so it's on feet, looking for the call to be made. Looks like they received it. A little bit of a conversation here between the center official.
Talking to the freshman, Monty Schroeder. Monty wanted a call there, didn't get it, kind of raised those hands in the air, was like, what's going on? And the official just said, we got it under control. It's okay. But I like to see that out of a freshman. You don't see that a lot of times. Shows you that he knows the game so well.
Exactly. We talked about that, and this whole tournament, just how young this team is and the amazing opportunities that some of these underclassmen are getting to experience this postseason tournament. And that's another thing, like we saw there with that call, the center official will let a play progress a little bit to just kind of see what the potential can come, because sometimes if he calls the foul too early, it actually can kill a great offensive opportunity that could have developed. And so especially when you're dealing with passionate players, they're going to get upset. Fans, you'll hear them vocalize their opinion, but you kind of got to give a little bit of a buffer to give him an opportunity to make a call.
Goal kick for the Cats, presented by Excalibur Contracting, proud supporter of Harrisonville Schools.
Set to that back post off the head of Ethan Cole, as it'll go out of bounds for an East High goal kick themselves.
So East set to kick it in, and we saw the East football team here a couple weeks ago playing the Harrisonville football team in the opening round of district play, and their soccer program now here for the quarterfinals of soccer. Or if we want to get correct terminology, football.
Football with a F-U-T. That's right. Well, and again, kind of talking about what the last game with that short field, you saw Marshall, for those that watched and attended, they were doing a great job at getting behind the ball. You hear Cody use that term, and that's referring to pulling your teammates, your team back to be between the ball and the goal. And so on a short field like that, you have very little distance to recover from to make a great effort to get back behind the ball. But here, when you're dealing with a at least a regulation length. It's not regulation width due to the track surrounding it, but regulation length field of 120 yards. It makes it a little bit more challenging to get your team drawn back, especially when you just finish your own offensive effort, just as it's a longer field, stretching your team out more. But because of this, it does allow there to be a lot more passing lanes, a lot more through balls, and especially when you have a team that has the speed that Harrisonville does, they can play to our advantage, as long as you kind of balance that out so it's not wearing your team out. As you know, we see a little bit of aggression there by the other freshman out there, Kobe Norris.
And Kobe's taking a little bit of a beating early on in this one, but I like to see that. He's a little bit undersized, but not afraid to get in there and scrap with those guys.
Exactly. You know, there's always that player that as I love, they don't know how big or small they are. You know, they're just out there and they're giving everything they have. And Kobe's been doing that this whole tournament. He's had a great postseason tournament, in my opinion. Last game, he was kind of paired with another freshman, and they were just going head-to-head the whole time, and it was a very entertaining battle between the two, as neither one was really willing to let up, as Weebush kind of gets a little tangled up but keeps possession, looking for that through ball.
And good job by Blettlinger to make sure he wasn't offsides. He saw he was behind the defense, pulled himself back, but then getting tied up there was Weebush, so that changed the complexion of that one.
As the ball makes it through the center here. A little chipper there. Looks to be cleared out. Let's see if it goes. Goes out on our side of the flag, so it will be a throw-in deep in the Harrisonville defensive half. Again, if you can have a player that has a decent throw, you can treat this almost as a corner kick. But looking at the way that East High is approaching it, looks like they don't have that long arm as some teams will have, as it goes out for another Excalibur Contracting sponsored goal kick for Harrisonville.
Just looking through the bleachers here, there's a large crowd here for this soccer game, and it is 98% blue. I don't see much green down there. We have 18 minutes to go here first half. We still are at a 0-0 draw so far.
For those looking on the screen, we don't have an injury. We just have a untied shoe. So no need to get worried here. Although an untied shoe in soccer can cause a little bit of injury, as the cleats, or the technical term, the boots of soccer players, are extremely tight-fitting cleats to try to give the most sensitive touch on the ball. And so they're not bulky. They're always, below the ankle to give the most mobility. Very similar to like a wide receiver's cleat, as far as in football, to give that speed, very light in weight. As Harrisonville continues to possess the ball here, making their effort to try to get their first goal of this match as they lose possession here in the center of the field. A ball chipped up, both players onside, but great defensive header to stop that play.
Deviney with it, clearing it out there. A lot of people are saying Deviney, not Coach Deviney, but Jack Deviney, one of his kids.
Unfortunate pass for East High, but fortunate for us as there's a chip ball right over the defensive line collected by Connor, and they will make the call. And let's see if it's awarded a penalty kick or just outside the box. Looks like they're going to give it just outside the box. Now, if that penalty had happened 1 yard further towards the goal, that would have been an automatic penalty kick opportunity. So,
but still this close to the goal and set piece, this is a golden opportunity for Harrisonville early on in this contest in the first half here.
Exactly. As you see the center official awarding the required 10 yards in front of the ball, which really pushes the ball back. So here you're going to have the goalkeeper trying to set up his wall, his players trying to take away one of those options. But as you see, there's quite a bit of space on that far side as the official must have heard Jerry Forstler here in the box, letting him know that that was not 10 yards.
They're still at 9, but I guess.
You know, it's hard to cheat those yards when you have them marked out like this. So if I were to guess, we'd be pushing it with our right foot to that top right corner and just wide. So he had the idea, but just a little much too pepper behind that one.
So it'll go the other way.
As we approach 15 minutes on this half.
Santa's going to need to get his beard trimmed up here before Thanksgiving. You're going to be busy after Thanksgiving. So Cat's still kind of in control of the ball here. The last 10 to 15 minutes has been more Harrisonville aggression offensively.
Which, you know, the issue with being so aggressive early on in a field is you can often get a little aggravated and lose a little bit of morale when, you know, they've had lots of goal-scoring opportunities but weren't able to capitalize off that. As Weebus just tries to speed his way through that. Unfortunately, it's collected by East High, but hasn't yet made it out of their defensive, as that was a great move there on the outside as they look to kind of do a little bit of a give and go as they play it towards the center. Harrisonville's defensive line has really made a great adjustment to kind of make up for those quick through balls that East has been going for. Unfortunately, Connor there being called offsides. Again, that's one of those where your speed can be a little bit of a negative factor because, you know, he's so fast. So if he's caught off guard as an official, you know, as a line judge there, he might raise the flag, assuming that he's off. But I think he's probably correct on that one.
In the for the casual fan, I think that's where they get confused because the defender from East just raised his hand like I'm just going to call it for you type of deal. Whereas they can they try to cheat themselves up a little bit to give themselves a look. So it's fun to watch things develop here in Harrisonville. Like I said, I feel like they're more confident now than they were maybe at the beginning of the game. The jitters have gone away, so to speak, and they're more on the attack now.
You know, definitely being in your home stadium at a game at this level, there are some jitters that will be present that you just can't get rid of until you start playing. And I think that's exactly like what you're saying, you know, what we saw kind of early on in this half, them just kind of feeling the hype and the adrenaline and learning to kind of bring that adrenaline into control. As there is a foul called there on the far side.
Approaching 12 minutes left here in half number 1, and Harrisonville and East 0.
See Harrisonville really pushing their back line up to keep those East High forwards who play a very high game, which means that they're putting a lot of pressure and a lot of presence there on the back line. So them pushing their field up, really making it more challenging for East to take advantage of those quick counterattacks. So the ball goes out for a Harrisonville throw-in here on this near side.
You know, Harrisonville's always been known as a defensive-minded soccer team. Coach Coleman, you know, preaches defense, and he's always been a great defensive-minded coach, and they're showing their defense here against the high-scoring East squad so far, and we're approaching almost 10 minutes left in the half, and Harrisonville and East with no score. That shows you the defense that's being played so far in the game.
Exactly. And we talked a little bit about it, you know, last week of a lot of these players on this team have been playing together since they were kids. You know, they've been playing for, you know, 5, you know, plus years together, and some of them even being coached by, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if some were coached by one of our sponsors, you know, Michelle Helt, as well as, you know, I know some of them also been coached by Harrisonville legacy members of the soccer program, like Matt Watson, having coaching some of these guys when they were younger. So these guys have been, you know, it hasn't just been this season that they've been in pursuit for this title. They've been doing it since they were kids.
And, you talk about it from the seniors all the way down to the freshmen. It's great because the experience is there, but now the foundation is laid for the Cats for future years.
Exactly. It looks like there'll be a corner kick award to the Wildcats, again sponsored by Excalibur Contracting. Brennan Travis making his way back into the game. Corner kick there with a head on it, but collected by the goalkeeper. Harrisonville still looking to keep it on their offensive half. Seth Weebush looks to chip it up off the head of Blentlinger. Intercepted by Casey, but brought down to the foot. See if they can get to the collection here. Get the possession as they look to move it around. Great movement here. A little bit of a deflection. No offsides call as the ball goes out of bounds for a Harrisonville throw-in. Still in their offensive half here. As you can kind of see on the far right of your screen, Harrisonville playing it pretty cautiously, keeping 3 back on defense in case the possession were to be lost. And a little bit of a tangle there as the possessions change, but bad touch and bad pass puts it right back into the possession of Harrisonville for that throw-in as Weebush looks to send the ball to the far side.
Stepped away for a second. We were just testing Ross. See how well we just left him all alone. Really. He's like,
Treading some water here, but it's all right.
Absolutely doing a great job. I'm glad we've had Ross along for this ride because I can't imagine what the broadcast would be without Ross because it may sound a little bit weird.
There probably would have been, and so-and-so kicked it, and then
right.
and then he kicked it. And
he kicked it to the outside,
here
he kicks it to the middle. And
it's almost like commentating NASCAR, Oh, here comes a left turn, and there's another left turn.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've had some experience coaching, myself from helping Coach Coleman and Brian Bliss whenever he was the assistant coach and helping them coach, and then also coaching at the 6-year-old and 8-year-old levels, and you hear the same thing come to the stands, and that's just some loving parent yell to kick it, and the reality is that's exactly what they got to do. So.
Yeah, it's funny though. Like I enjoy youth games when parents don't quite know yet what's going on with a sport.
Right.
Because the things you hear. I did a little thing this year on Twitter. I went to my oldest son's long ball here, and they're going to call it offsides.
Fortunate for Harrisonville as they get to bring the ball back the other direction with that offsides call.
It seems like we always get into stories and something exciting goes down, but that's a good thing because we like the excitement. But earlier this year, I would tweet out. I live tweeted I live tweeted youth football parents, and the things that I would hear from parents. We had that's unsportsmanlike. That's unnecessary roughness, and I was like, Mama, that's not unnecessary roughness. That's
that
just
was a clear tackle.
That was a good tackle, or that was just a stiff arm. The kid tried to tackle him and just couldn't do it, and it's just funny stuff like that. So it's funny, like kick it.
Yep, my favorite one's the classic boot it. That's always a good one, But no, I mean, with all that joking, we do love, like we mentioned before, looking out in the stadium and seeing the great support present here for your Harrisonville Wildcats, as we have lots of players from the football team, in attendance, as well as alumni, just community members that don't even have family attachments here, as Harrisonville is able to keep that ball from making it to the back of the net, but East High is awarded a corner kick here.
That was a close one on the deflate. Yeah, I was just looking down here. I would imagine probably 300 to 400 people at least here, if not, somewhere in that ballpark. And that's a sizable crowd here.
Yeah, it's always fun to see, especially at this, the student section filled, with their own peers, because you kind of expect mom and dad and grandma and grandpa to be here, but it's great whenever your own friends on a Saturday are willing to come out here and pay some money and support you.
We need to we need a couple of guys from the Cauldron that should have came and helped these the student section with some cheers.
There you go.
We could have got some of the good exciting things going as we have a goal kick set to go.
Approaching 5 minutes left in this first half. East High looks to set the ball on goal, but deflected off the wall, and it will be another. Looks corner kick as there might be an injury. Looks like he took the ball to the face.
Yeah. And is that Jack Davinia on? I think that's who that is. And Coach Davini's man in the scoreboard, and I think he was he knew immediately. He got up quickly there. So hopefully Jack will be all right. They'll go over and check him, probably concussion protocol type of stuff, and make sure that he's okay as he took that one right to the face. And, it could be as simple as it hit him right in the nose, and, those are stingers,
face, yeah.
And you got the watery eyes, and you just got to take a couple of minutes to kind of clear your head a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those, again, like you're saying, we hope it's not anything serious, but sometimes you take a knee or you go down to your knees to just kind of signify to the official there that they're, you can't see, and so we.
How many fingers I'm holding up?
Yeah.
Well, give me a couple minutes and I'll tell you.
Let the eyes to quit watering. Maybe I'll be able to tell you on that one. As we have another goal kick here, brought to you by Excalibur Contracting.
Under 5 to go now here in the first half, and we still have a draw, 0-0.
Great through ball here, but collected there by Brody Pitts. With this little bit of time, just reaching 4 minutes of the first half, both teams are going to start playing a lot more cautious on the defensive side, as you always want to be careful, but a lot more as you don't want to give up a silly goal this late in the first half, as that can really carry a momentum into that second half. Big clearance there by East High. Again, Harrisonville looking to make that connection between Seth Weebush and Connor Blentlinger as they've done so much through this season, sending that through ball. As East High has really just been stretching them out a little bit, and so maybe here at halftime they might revisit the board a little bit to try to create maybe some, what I would like to see, some closer, some more, some smaller passes to just kind of keep the possession and move the ball down that way rather than relying on kind of these kick and run situations as the ball is played back in the middle. An effort to pull back here, though. Unfortunately, lost possession.
2.5 minutes to go in the first half of this contest, and it is a 0-0 score. So the defense has ruled today so far, and it's kind of been a roller coaster first half for both squads. That first 10 minutes or so, East really on the attack, and then about that second 20-ish minutes, Harrisonville really attacked well, and here over about the last 8 to 10 minutes, it's been back to East.
Yeah, it's almost a common, almost like some common respect has been now placed on both teams as both teams have kind of given their best and their all, and they see that, all right, this is going to be a fairly matched game, and so this is where the brain and the strategy really starts coming into play. If you can't just muscle or outrun somebody, you got to start thinking, how do I get this ball around these players? And again, that's where I'd like to see maybe a little bit more small touches and passing game there to keep possession. As you can do that, we've talked about it in the last few games, keeping control of those angles, keeping those passing lanes open and moving to create some offensive opportunities for them. As East High is here on the attack again, trying to take it deep into the corner, looking to pass it across, but no, good shot just over that upper 90 there on the right side.
Well, I'll tell you, they've taken some fired shots in this first half. Fortunately, none of them too close to the goal. But it's kind of playing into Harrisonville's, I guess you could say, playing in their hands a little bit as Pitts is able to stay alive back
Exactly.
there. He's not having a lot of attack time. He knows to be ready for shots even from 20 and 30 yards out.
Exactly, as this Excalibur Contracting sponsored goal kick is underway. We're approaching the 30-second mark left in this first half. And, yeah, just like you're saying, we've talked about it in some games, especially like that first round of districts for Harrisville as they're playing against Grandview. A higher scoring game kind of withdraws your goalkeeper from the action. It's hard for them to stay mentally involved, and that's why I like seeing a very verbal goalkeeper, someone who's always instructing. And that's why when I would coach goalkeepers, I would say, I want you talking the whole game, because that mentally keeps you involved. As we wrap up this first half with your score still, as Chad has so perfectly said, 0-0, meaning 0-0 here in Harrisonville for this quarterfinal match.
We will take a quick timeout. I will run through our great sponsors here, and we will be back in just a little bit. Your score at the half, 0-0. What's it like to have convenience when you travel or right in your hometown? Go to the Sapp Brothers Truck Stop Complex in Harrisonville to find out. With a 24-hour truck stop and Dunkin' Donut for snacks, gas, or an iced coffee, the Apple Barrel Restaurant for Sunday brunch, or a service center to help fix a flat, Sapp Brothers has it all. If that's not enough, you can always remember they have mom-approved restrooms. So next time you're headed out of town or just need some gas, go see the great staff at Sapp Brothers Truck Stop Complex. This afternoon's game is sponsored by Atkinson Funeral Home and Cremation Services. The nice folks at Atkinson's have been serving families since 1929 and are a proud supporter of Wildcat Athletics. In Harrisonville, you know how much it means to have neighbors you can count on. Like the one who mowed your lawn and trimmed that week you were sick. Well, here's another good neighbor you can count on. State Farm agent Steve Croy. Steve and his team are here to help life go right when you combine your home and auto insurance, which can save you money and time. So combine home and auto and start the savings rolling. Call State Farm agent Steve Croy at 816-884-4922. Mike and Natalie Johnson take pride in giving back to the community. While if you need help on a remodel or project at your house, they are there, but they love to give back with various projects in the community as well, because they call this community home. From the Savannah Nash Memorial in front of HHS to redoing both HHS's football or baseball and softball fields and organizing a trip to Houston to help out hurricane victims, Mike and Natalie make sure that Excalibur pays it forward and helps Harrisonville continue to be a great place to live. Whether it's a small job to patch your lawn or commercial installation, Health Turf Farm can have it all. From the Loves and Quick Trip or Lady Wildcats softball field, Heltz will have you seeing green with their fescue and bluegrass sod. Sean and Michelle also love to support Harrisonville schools, the Wildcats, and field their own national touring micro sprint car team driven by Slater Helt. Give Heltz a call today at 816-540-2020. How many times have you bought a bag of topsoil from a local hardware store? Do you know you can get better topsoil and price right from the source? Heltz Topsoil has a fine pulverized topsoil that's virtually debris-free, a non-pulverized topsoil for a little bigger job, and fill dirt for the large home improvement project. All for cheaper than you could get at the hardware store and better quality as well. So call them today at 816-668-3520. Established in 1986, Harrisonville Family Medicine is Harrisonville's premier family doctors. Serving a 7-county area over 2 states and 4 doctors and 3 nurse practitioners on staff, they will be sure to have you covered. From sports injuries to a common cold, Dr. Aaron and Damon Travis and their staff will have you covered. They also take most health insurance in the greater Kansas City area. So come and be part of the family at Harrisonville Family Medicine. It's not too often that you get the convenience of Big City Bank with a small town feel, but that's exactly what you get with Commerce Bank of Harrisonville. Big city convenience with tons of locations, more lending options combined with small town hospitality and friendly smiles. Commerce takes pride in being an active part in Harrisonville schools and athletics and wish them luck throughout the playoffs. So go visit them for historically low mortgage rates or just to say thanks. Commerce Bank, equal housing lender, and member FDIC.
Troby's Maytag Home Appliance Center in Harrisonville takes the hassle out of buying home appliances. They will save you time and money and give you the same selection as the marts up in the city. So instead of spending hours driving north searching for a great deal, go see the crew at Troby's right here in Harrisonville and get friendly hometown service at affordable prices. With 3 generations of Troby's helping, it's a true hometown business, happy to make you feel like part of the family. Go see them today on Plaza Drive right behind Hawthorne Bank.
Friendly faces and bright smiles greet you every time you walk into one of the 4 Sherwood Community Bank locations in Creighton, Urick, Garden City, or Harrisonville. A full-service bank with new internet banking options to track your accounts and many loan options. That makes Sherwood Community Bank Harrisonville's premier bank. They are the only locally owned bank, and you know your neighbors are taking care of you and your assets. When it's time for a new bank account or a loan for a home or car, think local and think Sherwood Community Bank, member FDIC.
We all have a checklist when it comes to getting car care. No matter what is on your list, convenience, knowledge, affordability, friendliness, Colby's Car Clinic has you covered. Convenience is being right here in Harrisonville and taking care of all car care problems. From an oil change to tires and everything in between, it's your only stop. Knowledge is covered with having an ASC certified master technician. Affordability means they will work with you to not break your budget. And friendliness greets you each time you walk in the door as they treat you like an old friend. Go see Colby and the gang behind O'Reilly's in the Big Blue Building.
Treatment for minor aches and pains starts with a family atmosphere at Schroeder Chiropractic. They want to get to know you and find the best treatment solutions. The family atmosphere in over a decade in Harrisonville, Dr. Schroeder and Dr. Sharp give residents peace of mind that when the aches and pains are too much, they can come in and join the family at Schroeder Chiropractic next to the Brick House Coffee Bar and Eatery right off the historic Harrisonville Square.
Carol Looney and the staff at American Heritage has been where Harrisonville's turned since 1981 for their dream homes. Carol and her staff will make sure you find the house that's right for you and your budget. They will make sure schools are right for the kids as well. Go see the team that goes the extra mile for you, located next to Sonic at 1000 South Commercial, or call 816-380-6161, or visit the website at americanheritage-realtors.com.
What is the number one thing people look for when buying a used car? Trust. If you can't trust the person you buy your vehicle from, you can end up with a lemon. Steve Holland at Holland Auto Sales has been Harrisonville's trusted name for used cars since 1984. That's over 30 years in business, earning your trust and giving you confidence that he will be around for your family for years to come. Next time you're in the market for a vehicle, think about the used car dealer that has been around longer than any other. Holland Auto Sales on Commercial, just past Price Chopper.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Harrisonville, Missouri. Just give you an update here. We're at halftime, about 3 minutes before we go to kick off the second half. So we're going to kind of go to radio silent, so to speak, for the next couple of minutes. So if you're listening along at home and watching and you're like, oh, no, we lost audio, you have not lost audio, but we'll be back with a second half kick after this. Welcome back. We got one half in the books on quarterfinal Saturday of soccer. Class 3 and 4 doing action here today. In Harrisonville, we have the quarterfinal matchup. The winner of this contest will play the winner of Washington and I'm sure the other one we talked about, but that game is later this afternoon, so we won't know a score to that game before this one is over. But this game is 0-0. It's halftime, so that means 40 minutes to decide things. And you know what? It could be a lot longer than that.
It could be.
We got 40 minutes, and then you could have a couple of overtime periods.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if we're still tied up, we're going to do some penalty kicks. And I am going to sit and watch and allow you to call the penalty kicks.
Oh, man. Because you know how much I love the PK finals. Penalty kick finals for me is my least favorite thing about this sport, as it's just so much pressure, and you know there's going to be somebody walking away with with pretty heavy shoulders after either carrying with them a missed shot or maybe a goal made. But yeah, as Chad was saying earlier, North County and Washington High School both will be playing later on tonight, 5 o'clock, and to see who will approach the victors of this game between East High School and your Harrisonville Wildcats as we approach the kickoff of the second half. Again, something we've talked about is just the presence of Harrisonville today as the stands continue to fill up, as we have some people making their way in, later after the first of the half started.
And it is deer season, and we are in a country town.
It's
so
true.
A lot of these gentlemen may have been out, and even some ladies out hunting this morning and said, hey, let's go catch the second half. Maybe they got their deer this morning. Let's go catch second half of soccer.
I'm looking out on the parking lot. I don't see anything strapped to the hood of anything, so
they got it early.
Yeah, they got it early.
They took the meat to market,
and
they're back here rocking and rolling.
So East High will start off this second half with their own kickoff, and we're on our way into the second half of this quarterfinal game between East High School and your Harrisonville Wildcats. The score again being 0-0. Both teams looking to strike first to send them on for their state title approach.
As simple as it sounds, that first goal for either side so important because it changes the entire complexion of both teams' strategy.
Exactly. Early foul here called. Maybe a little bit of stomping on a foot, as it gives Issa an opportunity to have a set piece of their own. But yeah, a goal in soccer, especially at this level, this late in the season, we've talked about it throughout the game. Obviously, a goal makes a huge difference, but when you have the adrenaline of these students playing, going through the way that it is, it's very challenging to kind of keep your morale up whenever a goal comes through, as the ball is sent way off frame with what I would call a wasted opportunity there. It was funny, last game I was telling Cody Blentlinger, who was helping me out, that before the game, I saw some of the boys getting a little hyped and getting a little rowdy, and another one of the players in the circle told him to, hey guys, act like professionals, and the response was, but we're teenagers. and that's the reality. And I made this point last game is, when you're dealing with these young men, and emotions are high, it really is a lot more than just their physical ability and their skill set, but how mentally mature are these players? How composed can they stay in these stressful times, especially in a game where one goal can literally decide the fate of your season?
And you talk about that. One of the things last night we talked about doing the Harrisonville Green Valley District Championship football game. When they came out on the field, both teams came out, there was a much different demeanor on both sides. Harrisonville came out quiet, calm, collected, just like they were there to take care of business. Grain Valley, there was a lot more, kind of like you said, hyping themselves up as we may have an attack for the Wildcats, but it goes awry out of bounds here. And one of the things was you can get a little too hyped too. Like you said, it's kind of like one of those mental things is you want to look at it as a business trip. Don't get yourself too hyped up because it can go the other way. It can go sour quickly. And that kind of happened for Grain Valley last night. They got behind and were chasing points, especially in that second half. And you could just see they kind of started getting that doubt in their head, like, oh, no, here we go again type of deal. So it can definitely mental is way more part of sports than people even understand or recognize. It is way more than just your physical ability out on a field.
Yeah, I remember when I was well, let's see here if East High has a great shot. And they find the back of the net. No offsides called. So East High School takes the lead here with 1-0. And again, this is where we really see the maturity of, Harrisonville. Looks like number 20 there, Musab.
Mid.
With the goal there. This will be the real test on Harrisville. See how they do. This is the first time since the postseason that they have trailed in a game. And only the second time to actually be scored on, if I'm correct. There is the one goal in Grandview, which was the first round of district playoffs, and then today, if I remember right. Harrison looking for their own equalizer here as the ball is played up high. Goalkeeper comes out to collect the ball at the top of his 18. Some physical play here to retrieve the ball as it's cleared out by Harrisville's defense.
Just a situation here for Harrisville not to panic yet.
Exactly. It's so early on.
36 minutes still to go here in the second half of this one. And with that being said, you've got plenty of time, so it's not time to set a panic. And it doesn't even get to a panic situation until maybe about a minute left in the game, because all it takes is one mistake by East and you're equal again.
Exactly. And so at this level, if this had happened 15 minutes, from now, then there is a little bit more of a weight on that. And we'd be saying this if the goal was, Harrisonville's and East High was trailing at 1 at this point, because what East is going to be looking for is to continue to put the pressure on to score more goals, to create that margin, to create that barrier, like we kind of talked about in the first half. So what Harrisonville is simply doing is they're looking for that, what's called the equalizer, obviously looking for their first goal of the match, but to also bring it back to an even score, which might as well be considered a 0-0 as we go into this second half here, approaching the 35-minute mark, as Seth Weebush goes in there to take the ball himself. Tripped up, though. Looks like the official is reaching into his pocket to award number 2, Fernando Quinones, a yellow card, which will cause a substitution off the field, and Harrison will be awarded a set piece here around the center of the field itself. Especially with a goal being scored and the score not being even anymore, it's good for a center official to try to keep composure. If he had let that play go on, there could have been
there was a little bit of a grab first, and then it got a couple more yards, and then he got the tackle basically from behind and caused him to go ahead and pull out that yellow.
Yeah, so you just kind of try to keep the attitude here as he goes in and checks in on Seth to make sure that he's good. But as we go with this, as you see, Harrisville's all lined up there, even with the defense of East High, as we look to send this ball in there for a scoring opportunity. Looks like they'll be double-checking the official time on the board, which Right now is sitting at 35 minutes and 13 seconds. And it will be changed to 34 minutes and 50 seconds, which apparently is also incorrect.
34:15.
34:15.
Which Jerry had pointed out earlier, it was not running, and obviously they were keeping official time on the field as well.
As Harrisonville sends the ball down into their offensive half, cleared over.
And Seth was wanting that push in the back, and I think he had a complaint there, as it looked like there was a little bit of contact.
Yeah, I would say that I would probably be pleading my case as well if I was his situation. As we continue to move the ball around, East looking to increase their score, but a great defensive slide to stop that effort as the possession is changed to Harrisonville. Ball knocked out. Sent off, a header keeps it in, but sends it back in the wrong direction for East.
Good header in the middle of the field by Schroeder there.
As you see here with the backfield being wide open with some of East players, you know, Harrisonville putting a lot of effort on taking that ball and taking that possession. Looks like there's going to be another booking here as number 1 Evan Filer is sent off the field with a yellow card for that tackle being maybe a little bit of a cleats up, not leading into the ball, but leading into the player, as Ethan Cole comes in on that substitution.
33 minutes to go here in the second half. Harrisonville trailing 1-0 in this quarterfinal Class 3 matchup.
East High setting up their own set piece here. With a chip in. Brody Pitts has to pat the ball away as he's not able to get his hands on it with an East High player right in front of him, as it's then played out by Harrisville's defense, giving East High a throw in as they bring in a 4-man substitution. So fresh legs here in the second half as we approach the 32.5-minute mark. You see Harrisonville pulling more players back onto the defensive effort here, leaving Ethan Cole at the top of the half. Again, when you're trailing 1-0, you gotta think just as defensively as offensively to make sure that you keep the lead that your opponent has on them as small as possible, as there's an offsides or a penalty called here, awarding Harrisonville a set piece deep in their defensive half. A lot of juggling and loss of possession as Ethan Cole sends the ball up. Weebush goes in there and he's taken down in the box, and there is no call made, as that, though, is a call. So a goalkeeper cannot hold the ball in his hands, place the ball down on the ground, and then pick it back up. And so an unfortunate mistake by the goalkeeper for East High, but this is awarded a set piece here for Harrisonville. So again, what had happened there, that the ball came through, the goalkeeper collected it, he played it on the ground, and then as Weebush came to put a little bit of effort, he picked it back up, which you cannot do. It's kind of a one possession only thing with the goalkeeper's hands, because the goalkeeper, once he collects the ball in his hands, has a 6-second count to get rid of it. And so here we are inside the 18 with a free kick and a shot indirect, set up off the crossbar of the field goal. which then will result in a goal kick coming out of East High School. So there you saw Harrison will have to pass it off to Connor as he took that shot because it was awarded an indirect shot, which meaning someone had to touch it first before making a goal effort or a shooting effort. As Harrisonville looks to keep the ball into their offensive half, Weebush just moving around players. Continues to keep possession with his own shot, cleared over the crossbar, but the goalkeeper. Harrisonville's really trying to take advantage of this little momentum swing here as they're awarded a corner kick, as there seems to be an injury on East High's defense here as they come to make the substitution.
30 minutes to go here now, and the score is 1-0. The East Bears lead over the Harrisonville Wildcats. Still 30 minutes to go here in this contest. Cats trying to get an equalizer. They will have a goal or a corner kick coming up after they take care of the injured player down on the field. Of course, all corner kicks and goal kicks brought to you by Excalibur Contracting. Excalibur Contracting, proud supporter of Harrisonville schools. Mike Johnson sent me a picture a little bit ago showing me he was down on Fremont Street watching the Harrisonville Wildcats as he's out there for a conference. And I'll just say, if you've ever been to Vegas and you've been on Fremont Street, you can imagine the characters that were in that picture. We got 30:05 to go. They're going to bring the young man off the field slowly, and the Cats will have a corner kick coming up.
Again, the injured player making his way off the field. We'll wait for the center official to say that we're offset. And here comes the corner kick, sending it to that far post. Goalkeeper comes way out to parry the ball out as it will go out on the opposite field for a Harrisonville throw-in. Long ball into the center there. Deflected out. And it'll stay in.
I believe that'll be a corner kick for the Wildcats as that went off of a couple of East defenders on the baseline down there. End line, as they would call it in soccer.
There you go. Another Excalibur Contracting sponsored corner kick for your Harrisonville Wildcats as the ball comes in across the field here. Trying to get some body on it. Makes its way over, a couple deflections, but unfortunately it's coming back through here. Making its way into Harrisonville's defensive side, but not getting a foot on it, allowing us to clear it out here for an East throw-in. Evan Filer making his way back in after getting sent off earlier with a yellow card.
It's kind of fun to just sit and watch it develop sometimes as you're watching this go.
Great stop there as it's pushed over to Evan Filer as they go on the offense all the way out to the corner to Connor Blentley, who collects it, looking across the field over, just deflected by an East High. That will be another Harrisonville corner kick brought to you by Excalibur Contracting. Harrisonville really looking to equal this score, get their own goal here, keeping the ball here on their offensive half, taking the time here to set up their corner kick efforts as the ball comes in. With a header and a save there by the goalkeeper for East. I see Harrisonville trailing back to get on the defensive efforts. With a high bounce, making its way over. East High collecting it with the shot just over the goal.
Almost made it 2-0. That one just creeped over the top there. And Harrisonville might have got away with a little bit of a jersey pull there.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see anything.
might have glanced and seen that just a little bit, but you gotta try.
Yeah,
If you're not
you
trying,
do what you gotta do. Well, talking about things that I didn't see, apparently there's a deflection off of Harrisonville, giving East a corner kick here as they sent that ball in, and nothing's coming from it just yet as they still have possession. Great sliding tackle there, and the defense sending the ball up the line, trying to keep it in bounds. Recollected by your Harrisonville Wildcats. Pull back, but unfortunately he's not able to keep it on his foot as he puts it out of bounds for an East throw-in. Just like you talked about, Chad, in that first half we saw a lot of back and forth of, Harrisonville takes their time to make a lot of offensive pushes, and then East comes right back with their own. And here we are again with Harrisonville making their own run, trying to find their first goal of this match to equal the score as they trail currently 1-0. A little bit of a trip up, but they'll be awarded the throw-in.
26 minutes to go here in the second half. 1-0 our score. The Bears of East lead your Harrisonville Wildcats.
Little square ball there into the center as Weebush, who throughout this term I've seen him really enjoy that move, which is called the Maradona, where you're able to rotate and almost like a pick and roll kind of thing, or a spin move where you're able to keep the possession of the ball and move around a player.
Pick and roll.
I've been as I watch away from the ball and I watch these plays develop. It's crazy. It reminds me of the old Atari game or the old Nintendo games where when you were controlling a player on the field, 6 players moved at once, and that's what it looks like. One guy will turn and go the other way, and all 5 of them are going at the exact same time, and it's so crazy to watch that.
Now here we have a penalty called on Harrisonville, giving East a set piece and a very good place to have one. Brody looking to set up his wall. Looks like it's going to be a clear shot on goal with a deflection. Slows the ball down enough as Brody wastes no time to send the ball out with a long throw. Approaching 24 minutes in the second half. Harrisville still trailing by 1 goal. East High looking to clear it, but just sending it straight up in the air, but they still keep possession of it with a little bit of a pullback there. As East tries to go through Ethan Cole there instead of around, but the deflection does work for their benefit as they continue their offensive attack here. But as the possession changes, Harrisville brings it into their own offensive half. Kobe Norris being challenged there on that far side. Again, freshman out here. Substitution for Harrisonville. Seth brings it down with his own shot, going for that far side, and it's collected again, and they find the back of the net, the equalizer there.
I think it was
Tyler Falkenberg, who just came off the bench, making his debut to tonight's game with the equalizer, bringing the score 1-1.
And that's what Harrisonville needed.
Exactly.
That equalizer, it's almost like this giant weight comes off their back, and now they could go back to playing the way they were playing and try to attack and get that game-winning goal before time runs out so you don't run into overtime.
Exactly. The pressure is now equal on both teams. Now each one is going to be in hot pursuit of that next goal. As Seth Weewish makes a great cutback and looks for that far side, forcing the goalkeeper to make a diving effort to push the ball out, but Falkenberg just in the perfect position, timing that run in as the ball just found its way to its foot and then found its way to the back of the net, bringing us to this 1-1 score as East High looks to find their second one of the match, and Harrisonville looks to stop those efforts themselves. Looks like there would be an offsides called.
It's like Monty may have banged his knees together back there, kind of trying to run it off a little bit.
Looking to the bench to see what they might do here. As Harrisonville goes ahead and sends the ball into play.
It's a great defensive play by Logan Johnson here.
Monty kind of taking a knee to get a little bit of stoppage time as he makes his way off the field. As like you said, it might have maybe twisted an ankle a little bit or got a little banged up during that flurry. Harrisonville actually goes ahead and makes 2 substitutions at this time.
Bringing another forward back in. It was Kobe Norris, I believe, coming back on the field as well.
And then senior Carson makes his way into the game.
Carson Sasonis, also the place kicker for the Wildcats last night. The difference in the ball game for the Wildcats last night, his first field goal of his career in the second half, and the final score was 24-21, so that ended up being the difference in the ball game.
Wow. Well, and even with that, we just have an offsides call on East High School, allowing the balls to get moved into the other direction.
So we're 21 minutes to go here in this contest, and Jerry's dropping pins. 1-1 our score. So 20:54 to go here. Cats on the attack again.
And just wide.
Missed by Bletlinger in there. So approaching 20 minutes to go here in the half. Cats and the Bears 1-1. Our score. Cats just scored an equalizer a couple of minutes ago.
This is where watching online kind of becomes a little bit of a disconnect, just because you can hear the, I don't know if you can pick up on the crowd and how much they're getting into it as we're sitting at a tied score again after a hard-earned goal. East High with their own shot wide of the frame, but here we are with a Harrisonville goal kick presented to you by Excalibur Contracting.
Give a shout out to Bruno Sasonis, Carson's dad, who's in Colorado watching. And that's the great thing. I'll tell you, I started broadcasting sporting events 13 years ago, and I started doing it on the internet with KDKD Radio. And I will tell you what, it's amazing what you can get with internet radio and or video now. Whereas you can be anywhere in the world watching. There's people in Florida, Michigan, Wisconsin, all over the United States last night watching that Harrisonville football game. Same today. We have so many people all over the place couldn't get here that are watching the game, and it's great to get that to the community.
I'll say I know I got a message earlier during the first half that, Ryan Cook, who has helped coach both the men's and the women's program here in Harrisonville, as that shot goes over the frame, and played here and played in college. He's currently living in Prague, and he's watching the game right now. So I don't even know what time it is there, but
I was going to say, let's see here. We're about 4 o'clock here. I'm going to venture to guess it's probably approaching midnight, maybe 1 a.m. over there.
it's at least 5,
Right. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so it's great to, again, through this broadcast, it's brought some exposure to this team and to this program, and it's also brought a lot of reunions in a sort. And it is 9:26 p.m. there in Prague, so I guess it's not too late.
Not as late as I thought it was.
Exactly. So. But Harrisonville continuing their efforts. Here's the ball's made past. Looking for some lucky deflections, and there's one. An intercepted pass right there in the center of the pitch. Harrisonville looking to maybe get their second goal. This freshman moves there with a little give and go, adding a little bit of pressure, and that's going to end up apparently a goal kick, although from my opinion, it looked like it might have gone off.
Could have called that one either way.
I guess we could say it that way.
So Monty checks back in. 17.5 to go here, second half. 17.5 left in regulation. And we got a 1-1 contest. East struck first, but the Cats got the equalizer in about the 23rd minute of the second half. And now trying
Weebush collects it here in the center. Gets tangled up, though, and the foul will be called as it is set piece.
Good set piece opportunity for the Cats from about the 28 yards, 29 yards out.
I was saying, then with Schroeder coming back after leaving the field with a potential injury, I just want to also comment that Jack DeVinny is also in play, who went out during that first half for potential head injury, some catches. As a great goal there. It was tipped. Seth Weebush with a brilliant goal, setting it into the back of the net, giving your Harrisonville Wildcats the 2-1 lead here in this game.
Seth, I love it, coming back, giving the crowd the eating symbol.
Yes.
It's time to eat, boys. 2-1 now, Cats with the lead. And I missed my golden opportunity. One of these times, I'm just going to bust into it and go, goal!
Hey, you can do it right now. You know, the momentum and the adrenaline's still going as everyone made their way to their feet with that second goal. Beautiful.
Soccer, talk about just a change in not only momentum but emotions on both sides of this. Harrisonville, they got down 1-0, and you could just you feel a little bit of air go out of the stadium a little bit,
Yep.
like, oh no, we're chasing. They took a little bit of an exhale when they got that equalizer. Mm-hmm. Now it's chaos right now, because now you got a one goal lead, and now you can attack a little bit here, try to get that 2-goal lead if you want, but at the same time be aggressive defensively and know that if you can hold on to this lead for the next 15-plus minutes, you're going to the state Final Four.
Exactly. I mean, that was one of those things that we talked about, like the maturity of your players. And this kind of gameplay is vital, you know, that useful skill to be able to not let the situation that you're currently in, you know, take you down too much and cut down your morale too much, but for them to be able to keep their composure, to stay patient, to see their opportunity, as Falkenberg made that equalizing goal. And here, again, you know, being awarded that penalty, and Seth Weebush just being able to capitalize off of that with a beautiful, beautiful free kick goal, as East KC looks to find now their equalizer with a shot just wide, being awarded another Excalibur Contracting sponsored goal kick for your Harrisonville Wildcats. So, yeah, just like in the last game, you know, where goals are going to be found less and less later in this tournament, as, you know, your teams just become more and more fine-tuned. This 2-1 lead is huge. You know, obviously just for the fact of it being a lead, but, you know, again, at this level of play, it's huge, as we've seen this entire game, both teams just shutting down opportunities, even though they continue to make their own pressure and pushes to get those goals, as East is still continuing one of their own efforts here. great header there by the defense to push the ball out to send Harrisonville maybe on their own counter. Unfortunately, lose possession. Just under 14 minutes in the second half.
And you'll take some clear outs like that to chew up some clock, kind of like last night. Late in the game, you're just trying to chew clock. You just keep running the ball and sitting on the ball a little bit. Similar situation with soccer is, try to take some time off that clock.
Exactly, but looks like there was a call and some question by the throw-in. So, kind of an elementary rule there is when you throw a ball in, you have to keep both hands on the ball, and then it has to go behind your head and over it in a straight line. As Blentlinger comes in, touches it, deflects out, which will be a corner kick for your Harrisonville Wildcats, which, as you know, has been brought to you by Excalibur Contracting. But yeah, just a silly thing to get called on, to be honest. A throw-in, whether you had to have both feet planted, you had to go behind your head and over in a straight line. And so it's kind of like someone being called for traveling in the NBA. You just kind of laugh and you go, really? Really?
It's an unknown call.
Wow.
A missile from 25 out by Weebush just goes high and wide.
But it looks like there was a deflection on the ball, and so that's another Harrisonville corner kick.
Excalibur Contracting, proud supporter of Harrisonville schools.
So you can probably see, you may not be able to see it on your screen, but Harrisonville's not packing the box with too many players as they are, with a lead. Yes, a corner kick is a great opportunity to score, but you want to have players back for this reason exactly. For when East KC tries to make their quick counterattack, you have people in place, and you're not getting greedy for another goal, but you are trying to be smart in keeping people back during this time.
It was a great play by Craig Ward there to take the ball away from East just a second ago.
Kobe trying to weave through the players here. Just a little bit ago as there's a foul called.
11 minutes and a couple seconds left here in the second half of this one. The Cats up 2-1 in this quarterfinal contest. Great diving save of Brody Pitts.
Just about jumped too soon.
Put that on his highlight reel to send the teams right there. That was a great one. Leaving his feet maybe a little early as it kind of paused there in the air before collecting it and bringing it to the ground.
And I don't know if Brody plays basketball or not, but Coach Mercer may want to chat with him about getting on the basketball field. And that's a red card.
That is correct. That is number 2's second yellow. So if you receive 2 yellow cards in one match, then you will be sent off with a red card, which leaves East High School down a player. So they will now be playing with 10 members on the field, and Harrisonville will continue to play with their full 11.
So 2-1 with 10:29 to go in the contest. And that was Oko who gets the red card.
For a second, I thought Chad was going to hand me the roster and try to make me say it.
You know what? This is probably why I would struggle at broadcasting soccer, as East is a very diverse school. You have a lot of different ethnicities playing and going down the list. You have some from the Middle East. You have some from you have some Chinese. Just all the way down the list. There's some of these I don't know that I could even attempt to pronounce.
That's why we're thankful for numbers on the jerseys. as Harrisonville is going to be looking to take advantage of this. So this kind of brings a little bit of an interesting strategy approach as we are just going under 10 minutes here left in the second half of, now you're playing with a full 11-man squad versus, East High being down 10. And so especially when the player that goes off has been a great presence for East High, as he's made a lot of shots on goal, lots of efforts, as well as is a playmaker for them. And so you kind of have to think, do we now continue to play the strategy that we've implemented where, we're playing heavily on defense, or do we maybe push a little bit more now that we're kind of playing in a power play situation? But I think the smartest way to go is just to continue with the defensive mind, especially because, again, this is the last game of the postseason state tournament that is single elimination. This next round, the winner of tonight's games after this are guaranteed 2 more games. One being that semifinal or that Final Four, and then the next game either being for the state title or for a third place or third placing in the state tournament.
And once you get to that Final Four, obviously your ultimate goal is always that state championship, but any of those 4 trophies to bring home says a lot about your program.
Exactly.
So we got 9 minutes to go here in the second half, 9 minutes in regulation left, and the Cats lead 2-1.
And not trying to get ahead of ourselves, but that Final Four and then into the state championship game, those are back-to-back games. It's a Friday and then a Saturday as far as the schedule goes, where, what we've seen so far is, having at least, either a week or 3 to 4 days in between games. But those matches will actually be held, back-to-back as far as days go, so on a Friday and a Saturday.
Jerry thinks that first game Friday at noon. Not sure what happened to the player there, as he went down in a heap, but there was no contact. We'll watch here on our screen behind us as they bring out the cart. We'll try to give you an idea of what happened. I think he may have, honestly, I think he tore his ACL or may have rolled his ankle. I don't think he was going down as saying I got hit. It was a non-contact situation. And when that happens, a lot of times that is, it can be a dangerous situation there. So they're going to help him off the field here with 8:08 to go.
Looks like he's holding his ankle as he's making his way out. So hopefully it's not the common injury that you see on turf fields, which can result in, a knee injury and an ACL tear. And hopefully it's more of maybe just kind of having a foot planted and turning, just kind of rolling over a little bit as we wish him the best as he made his way off the field. So this will be a Wildcats kick, as they had possession of the ball at the time of when the official stopped the play.
It's a good kick down the field there by the Cats.
8 minutes left in this second half. Your Harrisonville Wildcats leading 2-1. Blentlinger looking to increase that lead. Seth with a great trap there. Brings the ball to foot. Continues his efforts. Keeps the possession. Plays it outside to freshman Kobe, who plays it back to the defense. And maybe not the best clearance that they were looking for, but it'll work for now. East clearing the ball, trying to put it back into their offensive half as Harrisonville looks to keep their lead by stopping anything. And foul called on East as there's a little bit of some high elbows, some pulling, and 7 minutes left.
And in that situation, if you're East, you got to be careful. You don't want another red card here when you're only down 1 goal with less than 7 minutes to go in this contest. You can get an equalizer and go to penalty kicks or overtime at least. And if you get another red card, then you're down 2 players trying to play 11 on 9, and that is not something you want to do.
Exactly. And here's the thing, too, is like that red card ejection, that playing down, that continues throughout the rest of the time, the rest of this game, whether it's within regulation time, overtime, or beyond that. And so, with that red card happening, about 5 or so minutes, it's really kind of put them into a poor situation as we approach 6 minutes left of this first half with your Wildcats leading 2-1. East still making their efforts. Looks like Seth, unfortunately, might have caught a cleat to the ankle as he goes down.
You can hear the fans down there going, shake it off, shake it off.
Again, anytime that the play is stopped for an injury, that player must substitute off the field. The clock was stopped 1 second past 6 minutes, putting us at 5 minutes 59.
East here trying to transfer in some fresh legs in this last 6 minutes.
Harrisville establishing their line of defense here. That offensive line as East High puts it in deep, off the head and into the hand of Brody. You'll see Brody giving his team some time to move up and get some formation, as well as just take a little bit of time off the clock.
Okay, it's looking to protect here with about 5+ to go in this one, leading 2-1.
East High again playing a man down due to a red card earlier. The ball making its way deep into their own half and played across the field, but no one was there. Just to collect on the far side, trying to send it back there as it makes it through some feet, but into the hand of Brody, who collects it, locks that ball away. As we are now under 5 minutes. Blantley carries the ball through the center, sending it up to Ethan Cole. Goalkeeper comes out. Ethan sends it over, and that is just wide of the goal, which would have brought your Wildcats to a 3-1 lead.
Ethan's dad in the next room back came through the glass, thought that one was going to go into it, just missed it on the wide left side.
Ethan, another player that's had a great postseason so far. Some heavy collisions, but, being one of those bodies that just continues to go and make efforts no matter what the play situation might be. He's going to be there as Harrisonville looks to clear the ball out as we approach 4 minutes left in this second half. East High looking to get their own equalizer as Harrisonville looks to just simply keep their lead. With this little time left, if Harrisonville were to receive the ball, you might see them start playing a little bit more of a possession game, using those small passes to try to keep possession of the ball as East sends it in. Brody collecting it. Brody takes his time again. Like I said, they have about 6 seconds to get rid of the ball. As there's a handball called on East, resulting in a turn of possession. 3 minutes now in the second half. There might be a little communication of who's going to take the kick. You want it, I want it. Let's just take our time to decide this as they kill a little bit there.
Absolutely. Under 3 to go, and Harrisonville clinging to a 2-1 regulation lead here.
Ball cleared out, as that could have been that equalizer that East High has been looking for. With a throw in here at 2.5 minutes. With a shot pushed wide. Easily collected there, but unfortunately an injury goes down. Looks like he's stretching it out, though. Might be a little bit of a cramp. Yeah.
Good time. Well, they do stop the clock for the injury, but
yeah.
in regular soccer, good time for a cramp.
Exactly. So they'll bring the cart out.
They're wheeling and dealing in the cart, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, she's got it and gets out there quick. But that also saves a little bit of time from walking in and out. And,
exactly.
And getting things moving along. And you can see they're just trying to work out that cramp there.
And here's the thing, even with a cramp, Coach Dan Coleman making his way out onto the field to check on his player, but I'm sure this is also one of those opportunities where you can kind of make your way through and communicate to your teammates of what you need to do, But, he's out there to talk to, the check on his players, but by taking advantage of this opportunity, I guess I should say, to also communicate to his team with, 2 minutes and 16 seconds left in this game with a 2-1 lead, what we need to be looking for and what we need to take advantage of.
Do we need to do anything?
No, we are good. We are rolling. And obviously at the end of the game, I'll address that. I don't want to jinx anything here, but we'll talk after the game about some possibilities. See if Harrisonville can hang on here. No, I got you. I'm preparing other stuff too. So 2:16 to go here in the contest. Harrisonville leads 2-1 in this soccer match for a chance at the state semifinals. Every sport but football, the Final Four is the holy grail, so to speak. Mm-hmm. That's where you want to get, and that's what the Cats are trying to do here. And maybe it even gives you a little fire, the soccer team, if they can get to the semifinals next week. Gets the football team a little fired up to try to get a win on Friday night and get themselves to the semifinals, and kind of a back and forth battle, but a fun battle between all the kids to see how far each squad can get.
Ball is cleared out here with that ball, but again, trying to, Harrisonville really pushing this ball when they, in my opinion, they need to be just looking to keep possession of it, but they just haven't stopped here with 2 minutes left.
Say East was out of bounds there about midfield.
Again, just letting that ball ride out, deciding who gets to throw it in.
We'll just we won't be too obnoxious here in the last minute 30 now. We'll keep you content on the score, kind of let you take in the sights and sounds. Harrisonville's trying to roll the clock out and get to the state Final Four. Trying to look for some soccer scores, not seeing any there so far.
Here we are sitting at 1 minute left.
And you can kind of hear through our microphones. You can hear that there's 1 minute left. The Harrisonville fans on their feet. This is where they need that "We Believe" chant to start.
Exactly. And again, Harrisonville Wildcats 42 seconds away.
Good clear
from
out
clinching
here.
This victory as the ball is pushed out for an East High throw-in. East High wait. Losing the possession here at the top of the 18. Player going down looking for a call, but it's still not cleared out yet. Out of danger with 20 seconds left.
To go.
East continuing to make their efforts. Harrisonville just looking to go.
You can hear the countdown.
All I need to say. With the ball going over, that will secure your Harrisonville Wildcats. And I'll just give you a moment to hear this stadium celebrate.
Your Wildcats, quarterfinal champions, and they're going to the Final Four for the first time in school history.
To recap, final score 2-1, your Harrisonville Wildcats. Great game on both teams. As you see, Harrisonville celebrating their victory.
You know, I took a picture last night after the football game, and Friday at noon is when they will play. And we were kind of talking, and I was talking about a little bit. We're up in the air about what we can do next Friday, Saturday with the broadcast between schedules and possibility of what Misha will allow us to record or to do in St. Louis. So we're going to talk kind of to our sponsors, see if they would love to go and sponsor some more, see what we've got there, and we'll go from there. But right now we're in the air just because of sponsorship opportunities as well as not knowing for sure what Misha will allow us to do. I know most games where there's Misha TV or where they have a broadcast, you cannot live broadcast unless it's audio only. So we got a lot of things to figure out, so to speak. We may need to get on there and get some credentials, if anything else right now, just to make sure that we'll have those. But I was talking about, you seen the players from East there as they were kind of, sitting on the field a little extra longer. And I said, one of the things I always say is people don't realize the finality of that last high school game that you play. And last night I snapped this photo of a kid from Grain Valley after the game. Didn't want to take his jersey off that last time, just sat at midfield. It's kind of similar to what you saw with the East kids here today. And it's just, you got to give a big round of applause to both sides as, East had a 1-0 lead, and give credit to them for getting that lead, and give credit to Harrisonville for not folding up shop and going into a defensive shell, so to speak. They were able to attack, get the equalizer, and then get that go-ahead goal, and then and they kept attacking the entire game.
Exactly. They never let off. They never let off at all, and so that is what impresses me most about this team. We talk about their history together, of playing together for so long. We talk about the balance of the forwards and the defense, but here's the reality. The maturity and mental game is what got these players through today. To be able to overcome, the obstacle of being down for the first time in their postseason run, and to not only equalize it, but take advantage of scoring another goal to take that victory. And as you can see, just teams here with that 2-1 victory, the crowd is just flooding out of their seats and onto the field to congratulate this historic team. When you graduate and when you are successful in your own high school career, your biggest hope and goal is that the teams that follow after you do better. You want them to be better, do better, and put in the work that is required. And Coach Coleman, who's been with this program for 10-plus years, has really developed a great program where they're able to just go on like no other team has before.
Yeah, it's great. Now they joined the Lady Wildcats as having a Final Four appearance, and now they got a whole week to prepare for the semifinals next Friday. So we want to congratulate the soccer squad. We want to we'll get with you guys as soon as we can about what we may possibly do for a broadcast next week. Your final score from Harrisonville on quarterfinal Saturday, the Harrisonville Wildcats win at 2-1 for Jerry Forschler. For Ed Ream, for Ross Glazner, I'm Chad Grammer saying good afternoon from Harrisonville.